The Microsoft Windows Software Protection Platform is still transmitting your device's persistent identifier right now, and the FTC can't stop it. Your computer just pinged Microsoft. That happened while you read the last sentence. A telemetry handshake, hardware fingerprint machine ID, a signal confirming your device is still inside Microsoft's control layer. They were investigated. They were fined. It's still running. And today I'm going to show you the specific mechanism that makes it impossible to stop, a system called Pluton. Windows calls it the Software Protection Platform. Officially, it's a licensing engine. It verifies that your copy of Windows is genuine, pushes compliance checks, and flags unauthorized installations. Microsoft says it runs in the background quietly, automatically. What they don't say, what the documentation buries in subsection after subsection, is that this system isn't just checking your license. It's building a persistent record of your device, your hardware configuration, and your usage fingerprint, transmitted at regular intervals to activation servers in Redmond. You agreed to it. The moment you clicked through the EULA, 35,000 words of legal text you didn't read, you handed them something far more significant than a license key. You handed them a clause called the remote modification right. Microsoft reserves the legal authority to alter, restrict, or deactivate your copy of Windows without your permission, without notification, and without a court order. They have used it. In 2022, following sanctions tied to the war in Ukraine, Microsoft remotely blocked Windows activation across an entire country. Millions of machines, corporate endpoints, private users, government systems. All of them flagged by a kill signal pushed from Redmond. One instruction, no appeal process, no individual review. If your machine's IP resolved to a sanctioned region, the platform acted. This is not a theoretical power. It is a documented, deployed capability. And the legal architecture that made it possible in Russia is identical to what is sitting on your machine right now. The same activation thread, the same persistent identifier, the same remote modification right. The FTC looked at this. In 2023, as part of the broader big tech monopoly investigation, federal regulators flagged Microsoft's remote deactivation capability as an antitrust concern, specifically the ability to kill a competitor's software ecosystem by deactivating Windows on machines running rival products. The EU's Digital Markets Act designated Microsoft a gatekeeper. Regulators demanded Microsoft decouple its control layer from third-party software. Microsoft agreed to audits. Microsoft filed compliance reports. And then, quietly, Microsoft introduced Pluton. Pluton is the reason this can never be stopped. It is a security processor co-designed by Microsoft and built directly into Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm chips, not the operating system, the silicon. Starting in 2022, new PCs began shipping with Pluton physically embedded in the CPU itself. And here is the part nobody reported. Pluton receives firmware updates directly from Microsoft, bypassing the BIOS, bypassing the OS, bypassing any audit trail a regulator can follow. The update pathway runs chip to cloud. Microsoft can push a Pluton firmware instruction to any Pluton-enabled device, and that instruction executes before Windows loads, before any security software can intercept it, before you see a single pixel on your screen. The EU's DMA compliance team audits software. Pluton is not software. The FTC can subpoena emails. Pluton's update logs are not stored locally. The mechanism that could restrict your device, throttle your access, revoke your ability to run unsigned applications, that mechanism now lives in a layer that no external regulator can observe, audit, or countermand. And it's still running. Every machine, every boot cycle, pinging home before you've typed a single keystroke. Here is what that means for your device right now. If your machine shipped after 2022, it contains a communications channel to Microsoft that exists beneath your operating system. You cannot disable it in Windows settings. The toggle doesn't reach that layer. You cannot block it with a firewall rule because it operates before your network stack initializes. You cannot audit what it transmits because the logs are maintained server-side in Redmond, not locally on your drive. If Microsoft determines, for any reason enumerated in the agreement you accepted years ago, piracy suspicion, export control compliance, a regulation they've agreed to enforce on behalf of a government, they can execute a change on your device that your antivirus will never flag. The device identifier attached to that change has been tracking your machine since the moment Windows first came online. The system that was supposed to be a licensing check has become something the FTC has no vocabulary to regulate, because it predates the concept of software entirely. The question regulators aren't asking is the one that matters, not whether Microsoft has this power. They've confirmed they do, in writing, in a document you agreed to. The question is who else can invoke it, because a kill switch embedded in silicon and operated by a single private company is not just a compliance tool. It's infrastructure, and infrastructure at every point in modern history has never stayed under the control of just one party for long. So the next time your machine boots, think about what's running in that half second before your desktop loads, and ask yourself who else might already have a key.